Swear the testimony in this case will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Ionescu, I need to hear from you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Very familiar with Ms. Berglund's complaints or allegations because we previously had a hearing at which Mr. Ionescu was not present. He has subsequently been served as present today. And what I've seen from the evidence submitted by Ms. Berglund is that she's repeatedly telling Mr. Ionescu to stop contacting her, and every time she does, he uses that as an he then responds and frequently uses his state of mind as a reason for why he's continuing to respond. Mr. Ionescu?
Yes, Your Honor.
You in Tennessee? That's a question. Are you in Tennessee?
Yeah. Yes, I'm in Tennessee. Yes.
Okay. I'm pretty familiar with Ms. Berglund's case, so go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So first of all, there's a couple of blatantly false accusations here in this report that I'd like to cover. But first, I want to start with an apology. No.
You're not speaking to her. This is not an opportunity. You are just addressing me on the legal issue of whether you have engaged in harassment. This isn't an opportunity to have any relationship with Ms. Berglund. So speak as to that issue.
Right. I didn't think I was harassing her. I thought she welcomed most of my advances. I believed it at the time simply because, well, first of all, let me just say, she claims here that I went on her military base and that I tried to contact her and that I was hanging out in the area. Okay, that is a completely false claim. And I want to make this clear. I never stalked her. Okay, I never went out of my way to hang out where she might be or anything of that nature. Okay, that is a completely false accusation. Okay. Now, here in her testimony, she claims that that she told me repeatedly to stop over and over and over again. Your Honor, that's simply not true. Okay, it's not true. I sent her over 115 emails in total. Okay, she told me to stop one time. Okay, around email number 63. Okay, now she was firm in her response. I will acknowledge that. Okay, but Your Honor, I'm a hopeless romantic. Okay, it's going to take more than one response to get me to stop.
You were told to stop. You can explain to me why you didn't stop. You said you're a hopeless romantic. Okay, go ahead.
Well, yes, but the reason I didn't stop is for two reasons. First of all, okay, I continued sending her emails, but I also continued sending her money. Okay. I sent her financial compensation. And if you read the entire email thread, I don't know, did she submit like all of the emails or just samples from the emails?
How would I know? I have emails here and messages.
Okay. Well, that's fine. The point is that I have no interest in submitting all of it because there's a lot of stuff there that's personal and deeply intimate. There was sort of an implied agreement between us. Okay. She's my muse. Okay. She inspires my work. I've explained this to her over and over and over again. And I was sending her money in exchange for the implied muse services. And if you really read the chain of events that happened, and it's all very well documented in those emails, okay, Miss Berglund accepted. I don't see any complaints about all the money that I sent her, but I can also show from the record, not only did she accept financial compensation for implied Muse services, she also actively participated in rendering of Muse services by posting photos on a social media account that are consistent with the content described in the emails. Okay. So she was cooperating. Yes, after she told me to stop, she was like actively cooperating. Now, I understand what happened. At one point, I went too far and I acknowledge that. Okay. I got a little carried away with fantasies. It's true. Okay. But there was a point after she asked me to stop where she seemed to me to cooperate with the implied agreement that we had entered.
So I'll quote you. I have this old school warrior conquer through persistence, overcome all obstacles mentality when I really, really want something.
Yes, this is true.
Yeah. And you said, I don't know why I keep beating this dead horse. It's time to move on. But, and then you have paragraphs after that where you recognize what you're doing. Then you say, listen, I've been extremely unprofessional. It's very inappropriate, but I will continue my conversation. So, and I'm looking at a prior email which says in all caps, leave me alone. It doesn't say, explain to me why you want to keep talking to me. It says, leave me alone.
Yes, but Your Honor, in the emails that followed, I promised her that she's inspired ideas that are gonna make millions of dollars. And I offered to share my wealth with her, and she seemed like open to that suggestion at one point. Okay. Now, at some point, I got a little carried away. It's true. I'm a little too far. Okay. But the thing is, if you read the email chain, I told her over and over and over and over again. I said, if this bothers you, if any of this is like you want me to stop, simply reply with the word stop. Okay. That's all she had to do was to say stop. And yes, I kind of pushed her because I was trying to provoke a reaction from her. I was not expecting this. I was expecting her to reply via email with a simple word, right? Because any normal woman, would she's so stubborn. Like any normal woman would have like just replied via email. She wouldn't have been go to this extent. This is absurd, in my opinion.
Okay. And so I found it interesting that after you found out that being in Tennessee wasn't going to be the preventive measure to keep Ms. Berglund from seeking this order, when the sheriff showed up at your parents' house to serve you, you then responded by once again sending a rather extensive email to Ms. Berglund. After you already knew she'd taken legal action to get you to stop, you decided you needed to weigh in one more time, saying, okay, this will be the last time I do it. The last time I disregard your prior request will be this one. And you said, technically, I haven't done anything wrong because I wasn't served. I wasn't there. So sort of like, nah, 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 nah. Yeah.
Well, I meant what I said. I'm moving on. I have no
All right.
interest
That's a good
in seeing
thing.
her anymore. And I want this matter to come to an end, and I will find a different muse. I will move on. There are plenty of fish in the sea. I just thought I was under the impression that she was receptive to my advances. She was not.
Ms. Berglund, is there anything more you would like to say? You're muted.
Your Honor, everything that I've submitted is true, and I trust your ability to judge the respondent's commentary as being untrue. Um, if you have any specific questions that I haven't already answered, I can answer them, but I trust your ability to judge the situation.
All right. Thank you. Based on the level of persistence, as you using your word, Mr. Ionescu. Am I pronouncing your last name correctly?
Yeah, pretty good. You're doing a pretty good job. Yeah.
Honestly, I have a pretty high level of concern. I mean, frankly, I hope your family members are there with you, or they're watching on YouTube and they're finding out things that maybe would cause them the same level of concern and can help you with it. Because it's totally inappropriate, and you place Ms. Berglund in a position where she has a high degree of fear based on your inability to let go when she keeps telling you to stop, and you run right through that barrier. Every time she tells you, you say one last time, and then you continue. Anyway, it's highly concerning. It's behavior that we see in folks that end up in much more egregious situations, much more dangerous situations. And I want to make sure that you understand that, and that the behaviors I'm seeing are precursors and with some regularity to really bad events. So let's cut this one off before it becomes worse. I will grant the request for the order you are to have, and it's me telling you, it's not Ms. Berglund telling you in all caps, it's me telling you you're to have no contact with her whatsoever. You're not to go within 1,000 feet of her home, her workplace. Ms. Berglund, this
May I add
order
an
will be in
additional
effect for 1 year
commentary?
from today's date. If you want it renewed, you can come back to court and ask for it to be renewed. A copy of the order will be available to each of you in the district court file. There does not need to be service since Mr. Ionescu appeared in person today. All right. Thank you both.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. All truth and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
And Mr. Williams? Is that a yes, Mr. Williams?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Yeah, we have to record everybody's responses, so I need out loud responses. Thank you. And Ms. Woods, you indicated you went to Subway to get a sandwich and there was an issue, and ultimately that Mr. Williams got upset with, I'm not sure what, his belief that you mistreated staff or something, and then called you, you said 100 times?
Yeah, so I have been receiving multiple harassing phone calls, and it started since November the 21st after I left that sandwich shop. And I believe that they may have given that phone number to like a family member or somebody. So all the numbers that have been calling me, like it was multiple threatening, harassing calls, and I made attempts to block those numbers as well. So when I look back at the numbers, it all goes back to Brandon Williams, and then it goes back to that same address. And so every day I have to pass this sandwich shop and I don't feel safe. I'm a single woman. I live by myself. And, just passing it every day by my job, I just don't feel safe. I work 5 days a week and I have to drive past that establishment. And I've been receiving a high volume of calls still. I have screenshots that I presented to show that I have been receiving multiple phone calls from those numbers. Some numbers are from block numbers, but when I pick it up, it's the same voice, and I'm indicating to stop calling me, stop harassing my phone. Each time I find out that it's that voice on the other end, the same voice, same male voice threatening, I make attempts to block the number. And I just want to stop any form of contact. I just don't want any contact made anymore by this person. I don't want to be harassed anymore. And that's why I just wanted to put the legal proceedings in place so that I can feel safe.
All right. So you said you received calls from a variety of numbers, and you said that you did research on those numbers and they all came back to Mr. Williams. Is that?
Yes, they've all came back to that same person, same address. Um, it's all from the same person. Yes, and
Okay,
it's
and
just
have you
Mhm.
ever met Mr. Williams?
I have not met this person, but it's just been multiple phone calls from my phone. And when I pick up, it's the same male voice, and it's a threat, making threats, just harassing repeatedly, and just calls back to back to back. And then when I traced it, all the numbers come back to this person and to that address.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
And what's the address it comes back to?
Yeah, so it comes back to a Greenwood, Indiana address, and I have it I have it screenshotted too, and I can share that with you as well. Let me find it here.
Okay, well, let me just ask Mr. Williams, are you in Greenwood, Indiana?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm in Greenwood, Indiana.
Okay. All right. Mr. Williams, go ahead.
Okay. Well, Your Honor, I don't know if you had an opportunity to look at the evidence that was presented late. And this was because the first time I ever heard of anything about this case or what Miss Woods is talking about is on the 21st of this month when I was served by the sheriff saying, hey, you've got this, this hearing to go to. If you look at the evidence, I don't know if you have it in front of you. Number one.
No, I don't have anything that you have filed.
Okay, Your Honor. The number that Miss Woods is talking about that I'm associated with is not registered to me. It is a Verizon jetpack that was disconnected from me in 2023. And I have the evidence here, and you could probably see it once you're we did file a little bit later, so that information is in there. But that jetpack, which basically just gives you internet, it's not a phone. So this is the number that is currently not connected to anything. And this hasn't been used since 2023. So that number is like a spoof number that someone is using in order to make these particular phone calls to Miss Woods. Secondly, I live in Greenwood, Indiana. I'm not associated with anyone in Washington State. I haven't been to Washington State in over 5 years. I don't know what the subway location is. I have no connection to anyone at Subway or anything like that. And so for Ms. Woods to claim in her statement that she did her research, I did research on that number as well. And it came back with, it was registered to no one. But I looked up my own phone number, my 360 phone number, and both of my phone numbers that she articulated in the in her statement came up with my name. And so my big question is, if she did the research, I don't know what research she's done, except the fact that maybe she went to see some public records that are like old names connected with phone numbers or old phone numbers. And she just took that number and associated me with it without understanding that it's an old phone number that I'm no longer registered to. And I think that's the leap that right now she's taking in order to unwittingly falsely accuse me of something that I have no idea what's going on about this. So, but some things that I looked at and the evidence from my perspective is when I looked at the statement that Miss Woods was saying that someone threatening called her from Subway, it was an unusual thing to go back into Subway after you felt so threatened that she went back into Subway to take on these people who apparently had said, I'm going to hurt you. And she goes back into Subway to face them. And it seems like there's a connection that I'm not privy to. And I'm being wrapped into it because instead of going through the Subway chain of command, if you were, it's just filing a petition against a phone number instead of doing the due diligence of finding out who's connected to the phone number, or even if that phone number is even active, because currently, Your Honor, it is not.
Okay, So in your testimony, I'm hearing you say you have no idea what this is about and you have not made any calls. You don't know Ms. Woods and you've not made any calls to her at all. Am I accurate? Is that a sworn statement by you?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Woods,
Your
is
Honor,
this a voice you believe you've heard?
Yes. So, Your Honor, I would like to add this, that I filed a police report that same day. And so the police, they did do an investigation into the numbers and they did trace it back to Verizon Wireless. So when they did do the full investigation on that. And so I did also file a complaint with the owner as well. So the threat started after I left the shop. And so I did go and do my due diligence and I filed a police report and they did link it back to a Verizon Wireless user. And so when I did call Verizon Wireless, they did confirm that it is an active number from a Brandon Williams. And so they also had all of those numbers that were linked to that particular person that was making the harassing phone calls. And then also, I did look up and do research on Brandon Williams, the numbers and everything. And it also stated that that their address was in Puyallup, Washington, back in 2023. So it wasn't 5 years that they weren't, in Washington. And so where I don't feel safe, I would like to add that I don't feel safe because I'm still receiving those multiple harassing phone calls. And so when I did file a report with the police department, that's where they did trace back that number to that person. I do have the address. It was from Greenwood, Indiana, and that's where all the numbers are coming back to. Um, so I'm still getting these calls. I personally, I don't feel safe. So when I entered into the establishment, the workers, they instructed me to write down my phone number on a piece of paper. And so I wrote down my number and I handed it off to them. And that's when, like, when the sandwich was remade, the employees, they were very disgruntled. They were upset that I came back, and it was something, a really simple fix. And so when I left the establishment, that's when I started receiving the multiple harassing calls. And I did contact the owner. I let her know everything that was going on. I filed a report with her. I went straight up to the corporate level, and she was very much interested in finding out who was behind, these multiple harassing calls. And so when I did do research on this number, it said that their last prior address to Greenwood, Indiana was in Puyallup, Washington in 2023. So I don't know if they have a connection with the people at the subway shop where they can easily come back or carry out any threats. So the threats definitely started when I got in the car. I answered the phone, and that's when the threats started. And then that's when I did my diligence to contact the owner, and I made a police report that same night in response to that. Hmm.
Thank you.
Hmm.
Mr. Williams, is that the correct street address?
Hill is correct, Your Honor. However, the Puyallup timeline is incorrect. So the 2023, I have been living in Greenwood since 2020. As part of the evidence that was submitted, though late, it shows a deed for a home that we have purchased in Greenwood in June of 2020. So I don't know, the evidence that Miss Woods is bringing up almost feels like it's hearsay, saying that she did all this research and the police did all this stuff. But the only thing that was submitted, as far as I could see, was a bunch of numbers saying that, block, 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 and then one number that was a previous used number on a jetpack on the internet that I owned back in 2023. So I don't know how she's putting these things together. We brought the jetpack from Puyallup because we still have our Washington phone numbers here. So maybe they're like, oh, well, that number is still connected to Puyallup because you have the jetpack in Indiana. However, I the jetpack's ability to make outgoing phone calls is not possible. And the other thing is that we actually disconnected. We have a statement right here from Verizon from an old email saying that it is disconnected as of these dates with all of these phone numbers. So I don't know what Miss Woods is getting her information, Your Honor, but it seems like I have no ability to cross-examine what she's saying. She can just articulate it here in court without having a burden of proof that I think she should have.
Okay. Do you know Ms. Woods? Mr. Williams?
Say again, Your Honor. Were you speaking with
Do
me?
you know Ms. Woods?
I do not know Miss Woods, Your Honor.
Do you have any interest in any Subway shop anywhere?
Absolutely not, Your Honor. I have no idea I don't even know what Subway shop they're talking about, Miss Woods was talking about. I have no connection to any of this. I'm just someone who is loosely connected to a phone number, and this is being the whole case for Miss Woods.
Okay.
And Your Honor, I would like to add that while he says that all the screenshots that there's no evidence that he's connected to it, the screenshots of my calls show that it is from that number, that 253 number. And when I called Verizon Wireless and when the detectives did an investigation, they linked it all back to that phone number and to that name and that address. And it's
Right.
coming, and every time I
Ms.
answer
Woods,
it, it's the same voice and the same person.
you're convinced based on listening to Mr. Williams today that that's the one who's been calling you?
I have a history of multiple calls, and then it's coming from that number. And I can also provide evidence from Verizon Wireless stating that that number was linked to that person under his name, and also the detective investigation as well. So when I did my research, all of the calls are coming back from that same number.
Right.
And
No, I understand that. The issue is, has that number been spoofed by somebody else? You've heard the same voice lots of times. The question is Mr. Williams a voice you've heard, or is somebody spoofing his number, which means they're taking his number and making it look like it's calling from his number, and they're the ones leaving you the messages? Do you have any way to determine between those two possibilities what has occurred?
So when I do answer the phone, it is that same voice. It's a deep male voice. It's the same voice that's calling and then making harassing threats. And each time I go and I block that number. So the numbers that are coming is all linking back to that person.
Right.
And so I don't know, like when I went to that Subway sandwich shop, there were two employees working that night, and I gave them my phone number. I wrote it down, and they were very disgruntled. As soon as I walked out of that establishment, and nobody was in there but those two employees that night. So as soon as I walked out of there, that's when I started receiving multiple back-to-back harassing phone calls. And this person knew exactly what I ordered, and they knew the time that I went in there. And it was just, and then I blocked them. I told them to stop calling me, and it was just multiple people. I'm sorry, not multiple people, but the same voice that is on the other end. And I do identify it as the person that is here today. And once again, I just want the harassing phone calls to stop.
Hold on. Okay. I'm just having a hard time buying that I know you're convinced today that it's Mr. Williams. What would be his motivation living in Indiana to do this? Any sense?
I feel that because the employees that were working there, when I came in and I placed the order and it was an incorrect order, they did my order wrong. And so when I came back to make a complaint about it, I felt that they were upset and disgruntled, the person that was there. She instructed me to give me her number and put it in.
Right.
I'm just saying that once, when then she went to the back for an extended period of time. And I feel that they wanted to do that as a way to get back at me for making a complaint. And I feel that she got a family member or a friend to do that.
Okay. So that's what you think has occurred.
Yes, and that's what has happened. That was like, and it was just ongoing, back to back, and it's still been going on, just multiple calls and back to back. And when I looked up all the numbers that were calling me, all of those numbers are coming back.
I
That
know.
that
I,
person.
I get that. Okay. Mr. Williams, what do you do in Greenwood?
I'm in my family have no family members that live in Washington. I have no family in Washington. Your Honor, I even have phone records from the.
No. What do you do? What's your job?
I am a life coach, but I retired from the Army in 2020, and I got a job in Bloomington, Indiana, which is why I moved here and bought a home, and that's why I'm here. I have no family in Washington. I have no connections in Washington. I have nothing in Washington to go and connect to, let alone go and harass Miss Woods about a sandwich. Your Honor. So this is a case of strong mistaken identity for whatever reason.
Okay, yeah, I get that. So, are you a life coach? You're working out of the house. Are you working full time? How does that work?
Yes, sir. Right now I'm looking for clients, and anyone on here who wants to be a client, I love that. But right now I work as
thousands on YouTube. So yeah,
as a health and wellness holistic coach, and I do that full time right now, Your Honor.
All right.
And Your Honor, I just wanted to add to that I work 5 days a week as a registered nurse. And
Yep.
I would like to add that, like, just the harassing calls, that does limit
Yeah.
me
Yeah, Ms.
from,
Woods, you don't
and
have to convince me that the getting hundreds of calls is harassment. I'm totally satisfied about that. The question is, who's the one that's calling you? That's really the issue here.
right, understood. And Your Honor, I did work with the detectives extensively, trying to find the number and the person behind it. And I called Verizon Wireless customer service, and they did tell me that the numbers were registered under that name,
Right.
right. So,
I
and
understand
that
that.
person. So it's all the
Okay.
numbers that are coming back that are
All
calling
right.
me.
Your Honor,
Thank
can
you.
my speak? She
Yeah,
did.
yeah, Mr. Williams. Yeah, hold on.
Okay.
All right. There is no doubt in my mind that Ms. Woods has been harassed based on her bad experience at the Subway shop. The issue before the court is Mr. Williams the one whose phone number, whose name has been linked to a phone number, is the one who's doing the harassment. Mr. Williams lives in Indiana, has for a while, based on his testimony, and indicates he has no family members in Washington and no interest in Subway stores or any of the employees at Subway stores, unless he's hungry. So I'm not satisfied that there's sufficient evidence. The fact that it comes back to a number isn't enough in my mind. And unfortunately, with the continuing, I'd say improvements, but I use that word carefully, of technology, the ability to make a call from one number and make it appear that it's a call from another number is pretty widespread these days. I believe that's what's happening here. I believe it's likely somebody associated with the store at issue, and somehow they got onto this number and are using it as a basis for calling Ms. Woods. So, Ms. Woods, this doesn't solve your problem. I think right now we don't know who is originating the calls. I am not satisfied in any way that it's Mr. Williams who is doing so. I don't see any motivation for that. I'm
Your
going to
Honor,
enter a denial. I have entered a denial. I sympathize with you having to receive these calls. Honestly, I think that's up to you now you're going to have to change your phone number so that person doesn't have your number. and then the calls will end, or hopefully you've done that. But I think that's the only way to address it right now. So I've entered the denial. I'm not satisfied that Mr. Williams is the one making the call. You said you thought you identified his voice. I'm not convinced. I think you could identify a voice from 100 calls if you had known that was Mr. Williams ahead of time, but not afterwards. The mind will link those voices together as a way of trying to, prove something to yourself. But in this case, I don't think that's accurate. So I entered
Your
the
Honor,
denial.
could I
All
add
right.
something there
You
before
may.
before I move on?
You can ask something. I've already entered the order.
Sure.
I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm.
understood. So, Your Honor, I would like to submit additional exhibits of the address and the name of the person with the numbers all linked to that same person. And
No,
then
you
that
don't.
also supports like, mhm.
No, I understand that that's exactly what would happen. That Mr. Williams' name is going to be associated with that address and that phone number. I have no doubt believing that.
Yes.
What
And then
I'm
also,
indicating to you is somebody else has taken that number and they're calling you probably from Olympia or Tacoma, and they're making it seem like it's a Mr. Brandon Williams in Greenwood, Indiana, outside of Bloomington, who's giving you a call, and it's not. It's somebody else.
mhm. And then,
And
Your Honor, okay, I'm
okay,
sorry.
all right, Ms. Woods. Yeah, we can't
I
dwell on this.
wanted
I have other
to
cases I have to
add
hear.
this one
Your
before you
Honor,
move on. I'm so sorry. Yeah.
All right. Thank
Oh,
you.
Your Honor,
Thank
I
you
just
both.
had a, okay.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Testimony in this case will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Yes. You may be seated. And Ms. Johnson, you had something you wanted to say?
Say in the petition, I had put myself on the petition line, but throughout was requesting petition for protection for our family. So I put Taylor's name later in the document. So the intention was for him to be part of the petition.
Taylor is
Taylor Johnston.
okay. All right.
So we gave him our chair. So
Okay. Foster, good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor.
So let me just
Sure.
go right to what appears to be a important issue for your clients and let me actually bring myself back up to speed on this.
Sure.
All right, and Ms. Johnston it's the assault that you alleged that Mr. Peters assaulted you in January, and that's the report that was forwarded to the prosecutor's office. Is that correct? Okay. The assault alleged against, I'm assuming Taylor is your husband?
Taylor's my husband.
Yeah, that was not forwarded to the prosecutor's office. Okay. So, Mr. Foster, I don't see a charge having been filed. Have you confirmed with the prosecutor's office whether they are still evaluating the charge or proceeding?
Your Honor, I didn't have time to do that.
Okay, so there is potentially a criminal charge in the works against Mr. Peters. Is that your understanding?
Well, and from the police report from May, there was also a potential against Mr. Johnson. The police report, well, I won't get into it.
Right. No, I'm not weighing the facts here. I'm assuming Mr. Peters is not going to testify at all regarding an alleged assault against Ms. Johnston, since there is a report sent to the prosecutor's office. Am I correct in that assumption?
No, he is going to testify.
Okay. I'll just make clear, Mr. Peters, you're under oath today. Anything you say could be used against you in a criminal proceeding. We have no idea what the status of that case is. I did see where the officer indicated he was forwarding it to the prosecutor's office for evaluation for a charge of assault. So if they choose to charge you for assault on Ms. Johnston, any statement you make today could be used against you. Even your denials, if they are somehow different than other statements made, could be used against you. So I just want you to, you have any question about any of that?
No, the only thing.
Oh, okay. No. Do you have any question about the statements being able to be used against you in a criminal proceeding against you? They will have access to this. This whole hearing is
I understand.
this whole hearing is recorded.
Yes.
And if they file a criminal charge against you, they will likely come and get a copy of this proceeding and listen carefully to it to see if you say something that they could use against you. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. I suspect we've all reviewed the evidence. So Ms. Johnston.
Your Honor, I want to make sure that you have reviewed the pleadings that we have filed. And those would be declarations of Curtis Dahlgren and 2 Thurston County Sheriff reports,
Yes,
Okay.
I reviewed that.
and Keith Bausch.
Yes, I've read this.
Okay. They were all filed together. Okay.
Yes. Okay. And you've seen those, Ms. Johnston. Okay. All right. So Ms. Johnston, go ahead. Tell me why you need this protection order, and understanding that we all have read all the statements.
So I'm here today requesting a full protection order from Mr. and Mrs. Peters for their continued harassment towards me and my family for, I'll say, 2 years. It's increasingly getting worse. It's escalating. And so at this point, I mean, that's a very short version, but at this point, every time something happens, it's getting worse and worse and worse, to the point where now Mr. Peters physically put his hands on me. And I don't want him coming near me. I don't want his wife walking by my house recording me or my children every single day, twice a day. I don't want Miss Peters walking by, stopping in front of our home with her dog, encouraging our dog, standing in front of our property, recording, talking with neighbors, which feels like provoking us. Mr. Peters continuing to go by our home and yelling at me, yelling towards us. The incident a couple of weeks ago initially started with him, as you read, sweeping yard debris onto our property. But once he saw me outside, started yelling at me. He saw my son come out. I saw him watch him, and then start saying things like, "I'm so sorry for your children." They won't leave us alone. It's just constant. Then they are both, I think particularly Jan, but I don't know for sure, riling up neighbors within our neighborhood against us. And as evidence from the evidence submitted, once this was filed, all of a sudden some of our neighbors, their friends, came out of the woodwork to show support of these two. So my plea is that we have just them leave us alone. Don't talk to us, don't come near us, don't email us. Mr. Peters is HOA president, and so he abuses his power towards our family and has. And I think a lot of it comes from us pushing back on the HOA and us, primarily Taylor, but us pushing back on things not being done legally, and it has riled up him and others in the neighborhood. So anytime, in an HOA meeting, there's outbursts, and like I said, primarily we just want the protection orders so that they don't interact with us. They're not standing when I drive by, Jan and her friends standing at the end of the, next to us, just me mugging as I go by, which whatever, I don't have to look at that, I get that. But it's just, it's everything. Like last night I wouldn't let my son take the garbage out. It's his day to take the garbage out. I didn't want him to walk out there in case somebody was out there. I didn't drop my daughter at the bus stop this morning. Because I didn't want her to have one of these guys go by on the way to the court proceeding. It's a really uncomfortable situation where I think a lot of the frustration is toward Taylor, but especially the kids and I are in the crosshairs, and I don't want to be part of it. I don't engage with them. I don't talk to them. I don't email them. I don't want to be part of them at all. And I just want to be left alone. Sorry to speak more eloquently, but I think once the officer said, you know, you could file a protection order, which is what we were told in May, I thought I should file that to at least try to protect ourselves should anything else continue to happen.
Thank you. And Mr. Foster, do either of your clients wish to testify?
Yes,
Go ahead. You can call one.
I have some questions for her.
Okay.
You folks are neighbors, correct? In the same neighborhood, same HOA?
Yes.
Okay. How far is your house from their house?
May I ask a question?
Yeah, so you need to answer the
Okay,
questions.
that's it. I don't
Half a mile? 2 miles?
know, or across the street and over.
Okay. And you want them to be prohibited from driving by your house? Okay. What are you asking for then?
I'm asking for them not to engage with me or my husband or my children, for them not to walk in front of our property.
Okay, let's talk about that walk in front of your property. Is there a sidewalk in your neighborhood?
No.
Okay, so it's your property borders the street?
Yes.
Okay, and you're asking that they not be allowed to walk on the street that is in front of your house? Okay, but they can drive by it?
Correct.
Okay. Now, you make an incident that sometime in 2022 something happened, is that correct? Okay, I'm just looking at your petition. What specific act are you asking for as a result of your petition? Your petition.
I'm asking for a protection order from, I'm not a legal person, so I don't know the right words to say, but I don't want them coming near me. I don't want them talking to me. I don't want them coming on the property. I understand if we can't restrict Jan walking in front of our property. I understand that. There is a way she could go the other way to walk. She could also drive past my driveway and then walk. It's a mile long. So, but if we're not going to restrict her walking there, then restrict her engaging with us, with Bill engaging with us, not stopping the car in front of our property to intimidate us, not standing video recording me right outside, right after this. Right after the police officer left, she's out there just staring at me, recording me.
Recording you? Or reporting, did you say?
Using her cell phone to video record.
How do you know what she's doing?
I can only assume when somebody's standing there like this with their cell phone facing me that they're recording.
Okay.
So I guess I don't know for sure. I wasn't on the other side of her.
And what did she do? If it was if you were being recorded, what did she do with it? Okay. And that's a result when you see her with some friends, is that correct? Neighbors?
No, she records it when she goes back. So, and what is happening is she's harassing me, trying to intimidate me, bullying me and my family by doing that. There's no reason.
Well, what if you two just decided not to talk to each other? Isn't there a more deeper common problem about some leaves that are on the road?
The leaves are irrelevant to this.
Oh, okay. So anything dealing with the leaves, you don't want the court to know about that.
That's not true.
Okay, what is true?
I'm not sure how to answer that. I'm not sure. I feel,
Okay, I'm aware that the issue on the 9th of January came about because I believe Ms. Johnston was clearing leaves out of her ditch onto the road. Mr. Peters came along and said, no, they're your leaves, they stay on your property. And at that point, we had an issue.
that is,
Okay, so you can
want me to fix, or
Sure.
not fix, but
give your perspective on that.
Mr. Peters, my husband was gone from work. It's very clear when I'm home alone. And Mr. Peters came out, was sweeping leaves that are under our trees onto our property. And once he saw me, then began shouting things like, "You're so sorry for your children." I recorded it. I shared that. And so, due to all this lead up, things that have happened, I was at my wit's end, and I was like, "I'm standing up for myself. Those are my leaves. They are. They don't. I can have them on the road. We can have them on the road. We can have them on the road." So while he was sweeping way down yonder, he's sweeping down here. I came out and started blowing the leaves down here onto the road. That's when he came up and approached me.
You say he was raking leaves or blowing leaves onto your property?
He was sweeping in a room to sweep.
Okay. And he was sweeping them right up off the street onto your property? Okay. Does the neighborhood have a common understanding that what to do with leaves that fall on your yard?
No.
Were the leaves that you were referring to in the street a result of your husband or you raking or blowing those leaves from your yard to the road in front of your house?
Not completely. No.
Well, that completely, then there's a fraction of it. Would that be correct?
Fraction.
Okay. About how much of the leaves fell on the road compared to falling on your yard?
Most of the leaves fall to our property.
All right.
Not into the street.
So as a result, would you say that most of the leaves from your yard on that incident had been removed from your yard and transferred to the street?
No.
Okay. What is the common plan of your neighbors, what they do with leaves fall on your yard? Do you rake them up and put them in a can or whatever personal use, or do you blow them out in the street?
I cannot attest to what other people do.
I'm asking you what you know about what other
I
people
don't
do.
know.
You've never seen anybody, you've lived there for 2 years, is that correct? Okay, but in the fall, you've never seen anybody, any of your neighbors doing anything with their leaves?
No.
Okay. What do you guys usually do? You and your husband, what do you, for the 2 years, what did you do with the leaves? You leave them up?
We do a number of things with leaves.
Okay. You blow them out on the road?
Some get blown onto the road.
Okay. Would that be not most of them?
No, we have so many leaves that a very small fraction go on the road compared to what's down.
You have a house to your left and right? Okay. Do the people on the left side blow their leaves out onto the road or rake them up?
Okay, we don't need to get into this.
Okay.
I think the issue is the personal relationship between the parties, whether it's over a belief that the leaves are violating the homeowners association rules because they're not supposed to be on the street, or whether they're clearing them off the property and why can't we use the street? I'm not interested in that conversation.
So what you are interested, though I believe your honor said the touching on January.
And the allegations of yelling and threatening and those.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about the yelling. Most of that is from Bill or Jan as well? Yes, that's a question.
From Bill.
From Bill. And what's he yelling at you about? Did she call you names?
Yes.
What are the names?
Bitch, terrible mother. Those are the ones I have. The
Pardon?
most recent recording, those are the ones that are on recording.
Okay, how about Jam?
Nope.
No? Okay. So this incident on January 9, let's go into detail on that. You saw Mr. Peters raking lawn, leaves up onto your yard?
Yes.
Pardon?
Yes.
Okay. And that caused you to go get your leaf blower, is that correct?
Yes.
And what did you do with that?
Started blowing the leaves. Not near him. My driveway out onto the street.
And what did he do as a result of that?
Immediately came over to me, screaming at me.
Okay, what was he yelling?
I hear exactly what he was saying, but
And you turned the blower and pointed it at his face, correct? His body?
No.
You didn't?
not until he came up to me. Not until he came at me. Was screaming at me, came right in front of where I was blowing.
Yes.
And was screaming at me, was coming at me, and then I put the blower up to keep him back from me.
Okay.
So initially I was not out there going up to him, blowing the leaves. I was trying to make a statement that he doesn't have control over me.
Okay, this was done on your property or in
Yes.
the street? Okay, so why'd you point the blower at his body?
I just said that. I just explained why, because he was coming at me, felt threatened, and put my.
Oh, okay. Used as a, oh, okay. Okay, what did he do as a result of you blowing the leaf, the blower at him?
He came up to me and grabbed my face and was like, "Don't you ever do that."
He what? Show it again?
He came up to me and grabbed my face and said, "Don't you ever do that."
Okay. Are you sure?
100%.
Okay.
I submitted evidence that says.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, let me have it. Where is it? What, you have a
I
picture?
submitted it to the court on Friday.
I don't have a copy of it. What did you file on Friday?
I submitted that recording on Friday. I submitted a recording from the spring when he threatened Taylor.
I have none of those documents, Your Honor.
Okay, things are filed on the 14th. They've been in the file since then.
My notice of appearance was on the 22nd, and we always look to see what's filed.
Well,
Um,
it's either,
Also, it's attached to
Yeah,
the
yeah,
police
well-
report.
or so what was filed on the 14th?
I just see it
Okay, all right,
in our documents.
all right. Well, I don't know what they are, Your Honor.
Your Honor, may I say something?
I'll let Mr. Foster finish with his questions.
I have nothing more.
Okay.
Your Honor, if we are going to proceed with information that you have that I don't have, can we take a short recess so I can chat with my clients?
Yeah, hold on just a second.
Sure.
And specifically what I'm looking at, Mr. Foster, is the police report for the January 9th incident.
Okay,
where Deputy Crawford indicates that the salient forces are, he reviewed the video that Ms. Johnston had, which showed, see, it says Ms. Johnston standing near the front of her driveway, blowing leaves in the front ditch of her property. William began yelling at her, saying to stop it and calling her a bitch. As the video continues, it shows William walking towards Carrie, and once he gets close enough, Carrie uses the leaf blower to get him back. After Carrie uses the leaf blower, William moves in and grabs Carrie in the face area. Carrie in the video says he just grabbed my face, and William confirmed he grabbed her face. And he then sends the report to the prosecutor's office for review and charging of assault 4th degree. So that's the deputy's review of the video of the incident.
Okay. That's the January 9th.
January 9th incident.
Yes.
And I know the January or May 23rd is different, but we're talking right now about the January 9th.
Okay.
And that was in something filed with the court on the 23rd.
I do have that police report.
Okay.
With the testimony of this witness, so I would like the opportunity to chat with my client. That I don't know what was filed on the 14th, Your Honor. Well, no, it couldn't have been filed on, well, yes, this was filed.
Okay, I'm going to focus this hearing.
Okay.
That police report's the essence of the hearing.
Yeah.
So why don't you go talk to Mr. Peters and tell me what you want to do about
Yes,
that.
okay, thanks.
Jace, how do you can go back and speak to him. You can step back, Ms. Johnson. You okay if I start another hearing?
Yeah, that's fine.
And go back and forth?
That's fine.
Okay, good. Okay, all right, there's fine. Ms. Ziadi, raise your right hand, please. Swear the testimony in this case would be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, Your Honor.
I do, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Ziadi, Mr. Workman was your prior partner, is that right?
Correct.
Okay, and that at some point he started threatening you and he's threatened to shoot you.
Correct.
Okay, anything else you want to add?
There's previous, I don't know if you see the previous police reports and everything in there. Previous domestic violence.
Okay. And this threatened to shoot you occurred when?
He called my son about 3 weeks ago, and my state caregiver, I don't know how he came across that phone number, but he called him about, I can't be certain, but about 3 weeks ago also.
Okay, and the threat to shoot you was relayed through your son?
Yes, and my caregiver.
Okay. Mr. Workman,
Yes,
why don't you take off your hat, please? Okay, now I'll tell you, that's a very serious allegation. I have no idea whether that allegation has been referred to the prosecutor's office. It's a crime to threaten to shoot somebody. So you could be charged potentially with a crime. You've been placed under oath. Anything you say could be used against you. You obviously don't have an attorney sitting with you today. I suspect if you did, they would say, don't say anything about that, but you're free to say something if you wish.
Your Honor, I have been in White Swan since July of 24. I don't want nothing to do with her. For false accusations, I never said that. I'm not going to spend my life behind bars.
All right. So she didn't say you said this to her personally. Her statement here indicates that you called her son and said that to him, and then that you called her caregiver and said that too.
Honestly, Your Honor, I didn't even know she had a caregiver. I have no idea.
Okay. All right.
They're all false accusations.
Okay. Anything else? All right. And Ms. Ziadi, you heard from your caregiver what? What was specifically?
That he wasn't gonna, he told him, he wasn't gonna stop bugging me or leaving me alone until he put a bullet in my private and a bullet in my head.
And how did your caregiver come to tell you this? Tell me about the conversation.
He told me he had something unsettling to discuss with me. And I said, okay, and he said, I don't know if we need to go to the courts. I think it would be wise that you get some restraining order again. I wasn't going to do so because I hadn't heard from Jason or anything, but as soon as my court date was missed last because of my medical reasons, and I missed the court date as soon as it was missed, allegations started and phone calls started again.
Okay, how did your caregiver tell you who it was that called? How did that person know?
She said this is her ex, Jason.
Okay, that's what your caregiver told you.
Yes.
Okay, and that's how the person identified himself to your caregiver?
But it was Jason, her ex.
Okay.
And Your Honor, during the domestic violence in Iowa that's on record, he also told me that he wouldn't stop until he put a bullet in me. That he did say to me at
Okay,
that
but
time.
that's the same thing that your caregiver reported was said to your caregiver.
Correct.
And was that the same thing that was said to your son?
Yes.
Okay, and does your son know Mr. Workman?
Yes.
And Mr. Workman, how'd you find out about the hearing today?
I was in Arizona, and Derek Hassan called me and told me that the cops were looking for me to serve me papers, but I didn't get served. So I called the courthouse, and they told me I had an appointment or a court date today.
Okay.
Can my wife come up here? Your Honor,
I'm sorry?
can my wife come up here?
Sure. And do you have anything you want to add?
Yes, Your Honor. There's several things that we are not, that she has put in allegations about.
Okay, well, let's just focus on.
Well, this
statements
is about
to-
the domestic.
No, let's, I'm not going back to Iowa.
I wasn't talking
Okay.
about Iowa.
Okay, talk to me about any statement to a caregiver or to.
We didn't
Let's see how
even
to
know
say.
she had a caregiver, Your Honor.
Okay.
We know nothing about her. We have been trying to get his credit report and everything,
Mhm.
and it's under her address, her email address.
Okay.
We can't get anything. And so, she's made a fake Facebook
Uh-huh.
and using his name, and we've tried having that taken down. It's not, we can't, because we are not associated with it.
Mhm.
The only thing we can do is block it. So that's what we did.
Okay.
So therefore she can't try to find, and I will say I unblocked it because I wanted to see if it was still up, and it is. And I have submitted a whole bunch of documents. I don't know if you got them yet.
Okay.
But I don't understand where she's coming from. We have not had any
Contact
with her. And yes, he did call her son. He called her son just to say, hi, how are you?
That was a week ago.
Yes, that was a week ago, sir.
I have
And we have documentation of the
phone call.
the phone number that he called. Yes, it was a week ago. But he didn't say anything regarding anything and has never contacted her, and never contacted her case manager. We didn't even know she had a caregiver.
Okay.
That was completely news to us, and including we have other documents that I have submitted of family members who are on our side, and I have submitted those as well.
Okay, thank you. And Ms. Ziadi, is your caregiver present today or your son?
No, my son lives in California.
Okay,
My
and when did
caregiver
he,
is not there. I'm by myself.
when did he hear from Mr. Workman by phone, according to him?
I'd have to look on my phone. because he sent me the screenshots of the phone calls.
Okay,
I'm not certain the time, but I have them on my phone. I could look them up, but I would have to go on here and do it. It was prior to the current restraining order. So that was 2 weeks ago.
okay.
Okay,
And
and-
when did your caregiver tell you?
It was within the same few days.
And was it a phone number that is your phone number and your caregiver answers?
No,
How would Mr. Workman your caregiver's phone number?
I have no idea how he found out. I don't talk to my family. I talk to my children, so I don't know how.
Okay,
I
but
don't know.
It's not a number associated with you.
No. In no way, shape, or form. And my family doesn't know that, so I don't speak to my family.
Okay. But your caregiver's not present today?
No, sir. He can. I mean, I can make it be a thing if need be. I also have a state counselor. She didn't think it would be necessary, but we could switch that if need be. I just really would just want this all to go away and him to leave me alone. The Facebook that is being talked about was Jason and I's Facebook when we were together. I don't know how to delete it, or I would. I'm not on there. I don't care to be on there. I've had my counselor through the state, and then my state worker deleted all my phones, and I don't know how to get it off of Facebook, but it was ours together. It was mine and his.
Your Honor.
Hold on just a second, Mr. At the time your son contacted you or your caregiver contacted you, had you been talking about Mr. Workman, or did this come out of the blue?
Came out of the blue. My son called me up, worried because of the threats, and he has asked Mr. Workman to stop calling him also, but he doesn't seem to do so.
Okay. Mr. Workman?
I can send you a copy of my my call logs. I've only called him once. Now it's a week ago.
What's the date on the call?
Okay, Your Honor, the call log is in his old phone. He just recently got a new phone.
Okay, when did you get your new phone?
When?
When?
Oh, like 2 weeks ago.
Not even
Okay.
2 weeks ago. You were in Montana.
Oh, that's right.
Okay. All right.
And he called, and it was like a 6-minute phone call.
Okay. Thank you.
And then,
Okay. Thanks. I've heard enough.
no, I have
No,
just
no.
a question. We
What's the
need his
question?
low jack information on his car. And it's under her name and email. We've tried to call LoJack, but we can't get it transferred into his name for the LoJack. She set it all up.
Do you want to do anything about that, Ms. Ziotti?
I don't know how. I didn't know that I don't even have that same email anymore. I mean, I could probably go on it, but I don't know nothing about it or how to do it, or I don't want any of that information. So if you could tell me how to get it off of my name, that would be great. I don't know nothing about
And just
that.
like she needs to close the Credit Karma account.
Okay.
That is under her email.
We're not going to negotiate the relationship here.
Everything was going to my email. That's correct, because I took care of it all when we were together. I have since opened a new email, so the other one's just sitting there.
Okay. There's been a request that you dissolve those. But that's all I'm saying. All right. Clearly, we don't have the recipients of the phone call here. Ms. Ziotti reports 2 separate phone calls saying the same thing, and Mr. Workman denies that. The burden of proof here is low, so I'm going to believe that it occurred. And Mr. Workman, I'm going to order that you have no contact at all with Ms. Ziotti. So, Ms. Ziotti, this order will be in effect for 1 year from today's date. If you want it renewed, you have to come back to court and ask for it to be renewed.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Workman will give you a copy of this order here momentarily.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Bye-bye. And Mr. Foster.
Yes, we're willing to proceed.
Okay, and what do you want to do concerning the information on the police report concerning the incident between Mr. Peters and Ms. Johnston,
He's got a different version. My client has a different version.
which he intends to put it, say, under oath today? Okay, go ahead. You can ask some questions.
Well, I have a couple questions for Ms. Johnson.
Go ahead.
Does your leaf blower have signs similar to, I better introduce this.
Right. You can show her first.
Okay. I'm handing you it down at the right. It says Exhibit 4. Does your leaf blower have similar signs, either the one on the left or the one on the right? Okay. I would offer Exhibit 4. Okay. So, when thank you. When you had the blower pointed towards him, did it blow his glasses? Mr. Johnson. I mean, excuse me, Mr. Peters. It blew his glasses off, did it not?
I think it did.
Out onto the street. Okay. There was
Honestly, I don't know for sure that they blew off from that. Maybe it was when he lunged at me and grabbed my keys.
did he lunch
I
or
actually don't know.
did he lunch or
When his
trip?
glasses-
Did he lunch at you or trip?
He tripped, or he
Yeah.
lunged.
Okay. And you were aware of an incident that happened back in May 23, which the police report says that I'll read this paragraph. On May 23, 2004, at approximately 16 hours as dispatched from an assault complaint, Taylor Johnson called to report his neighbor, William Bill Peters, had pushed him. Taylor declined needing aid, but advised dispatch that he felt dizzy. In that report, the last paragraph says, based on 3 statements, it appears that Taylor was actually the primary aggressor in the assault. Bill, however, doesn't wish to pursue criminal charges and was provided information on court orders he wishes to obtain one. I have no probable cause for anyone's arrest at this point, only information. You remember that incident? You were not there? Okay, that's fine. Then Mr. Peterson, excuse me, yes, Mr. Peters.
Go ahead.
All right. Now focusing in on the January 9 incident, okay, Bill? Yes. All right. Is there a policy in the homeowners association bylaws of what you're supposed to do with leaves that fall in your yard?
No, there is not.
Okay. Is there a policy that most of the neighbors do?
Everyone just keeps their streets clean. They do their own leaves, yard trash on their own yards.
How many homes do you have?
32.
And everyone does that except for one home?
That's correct.
Okay, and that would be the Johnstons?
Yes.
Okay, and by that, what do you mean? That leaves that would fall from a tree on your yard into the yard, you'd blow them or rake them up onto your yard?
And do them in our ditch, whatever, or around our yard. We do it on our own piece of property, not out the road.
Okay, now on January 9, what were you doing?
I went out with a push broom and was starting to sweep them off the street. Terry came out, saw me, and had her video up on me. And I was pushing and I waved and all.
What were you doing specifically? What were you doing?
I was trying to clean the road.
Had you blown leaves up onto your property?
No.
Okay. The homes on to the left or the right are Johnston's. Were there leaves in the road from those houses that day?
No,
Where were they?
their yards are all, everybody just takes care of their own.
All right. But on this particular day, January 9, there was leaves in front of the Johnston's home. Is that correct?
That and a lot more.
I'm handing you a document that was marked as Exhibit 5. Are you familiar with that document?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Your Honor, that is.
Show that.
Oh, yes. It's been filed. That exhibit.
All three pictures.
Yes. Okay. All right.
And I reviewed that.
Thank you. The top left is what?
Top left is a while before he had them blown across. the
No,
whole-
wait. You
Okay,
can't use
go ahead.
pronouns.
I'm sorry,
You can't use pronouns. You gotta use
Sorry.
names.
Taylor Johnson had blown across the street, left it out there.
In piles?
No, just all over the street.
Who put the piles?
A neighbor, Kevin Boren, was upset about it. He came with a shovel and rake, I guess, and put them in piles there. So, because he said, I bought my wife a brand new car. I don't want to drive through all this junk.
So the leaves on the top of on the left side, those four, I don't know how many
Yeah,
piles are. Those are in front of the Johnston's property?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. And what is on the right side on that picture?
Okay, the right side is showing nowadays, it shows the front of Taylor's house, but from his driveway toward the way you drive, it's clean.
That would be the bottom part.
Yes, the bottom.
The top part
The
is,
top part's all the leaves out there because he didn't have to drive through.
okay. And then the bottom picture.
Bottom picture is all of these leaves smashed, it's these piles smashed in from everybody driving over it.
Okay. And that'd be in front of the Johnston's property.
That is correct.
Okay. All right. So January 9, what were you doing?
I was cleaning the street off. Trying to,
And with a blower or a rake?
no, push broke.
Okay. And your focus was the property in front of the Johnstons?
The street in front of the Johnsons, yes, that's the only place that's in the whole neighborhood. A mess.
Okay. And why were you, and that is where compared to your house?
Yes, it was diagonally in front of our house.
Okay. So what happened? You're raking them up onto their
I
yard?
was sweeping them into the gully, the drainage ditch. And then she came out with her cameras, was doing whatever, and then I noticed she was on the phone. So I assumed she talked to her husband Taylor. And then she came out with a blower and started blowing the stuff back out in the street.
How far were you onto their property at that point?
I have never been on her property.
Okay, so you were raking leaves. You only got to the street and you're raking them right onto their property, bordering the street.
Yes,
Okay, so you were not on their property.
no.
Okay, all right. So she comes out with the blower, is that
Yes,
correct?
that's
She's
right.
blowing them back on the street.
Yes.
Are you saying anything to her at that point?
I said, why are you doing this? And she said, it's our street. I'm putting it on our street. And I said, it is not your street. It's everybody's street.
Okay.
And then, yeah, and then I mentioned, I looked to the side and said, look, you're clean on that part of your place. You obviously don't like it. And then
That
she-
you're referring to the neighbors?
I'm talking about the part in front of their house where they drive. They clean that so they don't have to drive through it.
Okay, that's the
From the
exhibit
mailbox
5,
on. Yeah,
bottom half.
Yes.
Who, they cleaned that part up
they clean their own layers.
from the driveway up? Okay.
Driveway
All
up,
right.
down the street, how you drive.
Now, the leaves that you see there, then is that across from your house?
No, it's still diagonal.
Okay, all right. All right, so what were you doing? You're on the street, right, and she comes out with a blower.
Yes,
Okay. Did you ever step onto their property?
never in my life have I been on that.
Well, okay, all right. All right, so she was coming at you with the blower, would that be it?
She
She's
was
walking?
blowing it on the street. She
Okay.
was not blowing it at me. She was blowing on the street. And that's when I said, why are you doing it?
Was she walking towards you in the process
She was coming out and blowing the leaf,
and you were standing still?
Yeah.
Okay, what happened? Yeah.
Well, then I said, why are you doing this? Da, da, da. And then I said, you don't like it either. So look at that on this side. And then she got upset with me and blew it right up, the leaves right up me and into my face, knocking my glasses off. I reached out in defense. I grabbed her hair on the side of her head. I told her that. She said, well, you're gonna lie to me? I said, no, I'm not like your husband. I'm not lying. Okay, I have a medical situation.
Okay, tell His Honor what your
Okay,
conditions
Your
are.
Honor, I have prostate cancer. I've been treated for over 6 months now for prostate cancer. I don't know how to pronounce this word. Eligard Luprolid. It's a suspension injection. Okay.
Okay, so you take medication for the prostate.
It's an injection.
What are the results of the medicine?
Okay, it says side effects. Unusual weakness or fatigue, dizziness, and loss of balance.
And what?
Confusion.
I don't, okay. All right, so that particular day, she said you lunged at her. Is that what you referred to it as?
I wouldn't know. I threw my hands up. I was blind. I grabbed her hair and I said, please stop. I said, either please stop or stop.
Okay.
And that's what she said. You grabbed my face. And I said, no, I didn't.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
When the officer came on that particular day,
Yes.
do you remember seeing any marks on her face?
No, he reported seeing nothing. He had her lift her hair, I guess, took pictures. That's what he told us. I wasn't there for that.
Now, this leaf growing thing has been growing for the approximate past 2 years.
This thing is, yeah, he knows it bugged me. He said, Bill, they're only leaves.
Okay. Was there another incident in which there was leaves on the ground and you and Mr. Johnson had a problem?
Yes.
Okay, tell the court about that.
Okay, I walked up, coming home, and I see all the leaves in the yard, and Carrie's out there with her 2 kids in the driveway.
About when was this thing?
I don't have a date.
What?
That was at the beginning. So come,
Before this,
year and a half ago.
I don't, honestly, I don't know when.
Over a year ago.
Yeah. it
Okay.
could be.
All right. Okay.
Okay, so I said, Carrie, tell Taylor he can't blow his stuff out into the street. Taylor came walking out of the garage with his phone. I knew he was gonna do a video. I said, what's the problem, Bill? And I said, you can't be blowing the leaves out here on the road. I said, why, Bill? They're just leaves. I said, Taylor, I was getting frustrated. I said, you can't blow this crap out, your yard crap out into the street. And he said, oh, you got a curse. And I said, it's what it was. This can't be doing this.
Okay.
And he, well, you know,
And in the police report, it says that he did not observe any visible injuries to her cheek area. Is that correct? All right.
they say yes.
All right. So what's your solution to this problem with the leaves? That's why
Well,
we're here today.
I know. Well, actually, what's going to happen is coming up to the meeting in February,
Okay.
they're going to be bringing it up to take care of that problem.
All right. Thank you. I have nothing further, Your Honor. All right. Thank you. What?
Okay. Nothing else?
Well, you're not concerned about,
I'm concerned about the issue on the 9th.
yes, that's what I thought.
Okay,
Yes, thank you. No.
thank you. And Ms. Johnston, anything else?
I guess I'm not sure, should I be responding to the testimony that was just given?
Here.
Johnson, you can hold up. Thank you.
So essentially, I guess all I would want to say is I'm not here physically. I'm here because the behavior of Mr. and Mrs. Peters continues to escalate. Started with shouting years ago at an HOA meeting. It's continued to escalate, as you saw in the other police report last year, where he's flipping off Taylor and our daughter as they drive by. There's cutting us off in HOA meetings, an abuse of power, sending ridiculous emails to us, claiming things that aren't true, spreading rumors in the neighborhood about us. His wife walking by every single day recording us, him stopping in front of our property, yelling at us, him coming and feeling like he needs to put leaves on the road. There's that. And then the yelling, now actually physically assaulting me. He physically assaulted Taylor as well. And so it just keeps escalating and escalating. And I just want them to stay away from me. Don't want to be a part. There's no issue with the leaves except for their issue with the leaves. That's not why I'm here.
Okay.
He's not interested.
So the general relationship between the families, how much I can do about that. But people get along, people don't get along. Courts aren't empowered to change that. I get that there's a lot of anguish both ways, has been for some period of time. And I don't find that any one party in those regards is doing something that is much different than the other parties. There just seems to be a back and forth here. So I can't control driving by, walking by. I mean, I could, but that would be inappropriate under the terms of the statute. So I'm not going to restrict people's ability to access their neighborhood. The one event that stands out and why I asked people to focus on it was the 9th of January. It's clear there's a video. It shows Mr. Peters acting totally inappropriately based on the video, not based on his testimony today, which is somewhat a washed version of the video. But the video, as reported by the officer, sets forth aggressive action towards Ms. Johnston. So, Mr. Peters, you were to have absolutely no contact with Ms. Johnston at all. Not to say anything to her. You're not to go within 25 feet of her residence. As to Mr. Johnston and the events on the 23rd of May, I like the officer. I sort of see it was a back and forth between the parties, so I don't see a basis for me to enter an order in favor of one party on that. And the videotaping of Ms. Johnston when she's out in the yard, Ms. Peters, seems provocative to me. It seems maybe like there's not an issue that you're videotaping. It's just like, look what I'm doing to you. I'm tired of you being annoying. It's the impression I get. I'm not issuing an order in that regard, but if you're trying to put out a fire, you don't pour gasoline on it. So I would suggest that you not do it. That, hopefully this order will provide Ms. Johnston some confidence that Mr. Peters won't approach her or say anything to her. And that would include hand signals. You're to have no contact at all with Ms. Johnston. And hopefully this order in its very defined respect or aspect will allow the parties to just sort of back off each other and each believe that can maintain some coexistence without trying to provoke the other. I've been trying to figure out if there's a way I could address the potential contacts particularly, I'm guessing, at the HOA meetings between Mr. Johnston and Mr. Peters as the president of the HOA. And that's a political event in a sense. And we are very careful not to restrict political speech on both parties as a resident and as a president. Parties have a right. I would just hope you treat each other courteously and, as human beings and not as enemies. But I can't put that in a court order. We don't do that. So I can address the issue between Mr. Peters and Ms. Johnston, and I have. So that's the term of the no contact order. And I would ask the parties to try to make this something that lets this situation die down a little bit.
Your Honor, I have two questions. Excuse me.
Ms. Johnson, you're the petitioner. Go ahead.
I'm going to ask if the kiddos are involved in that too.
I'll tell you in a second.
I do have.
And yes, they are. So Vienna and William are. And for the record, I took Ms. Peters off this as a respondent. So the order applies only to Mr. Peters.
I can see an issue of 25 feet to her, not her person, but her house. Is that correct?
It's 25 feet. Yes.
To the house or her person?
It's to her person.
Okay. Well,
do they
could be driving in his house or out of the house? I mean, on the road, because we didn't get into whether it's a dead end one way or the other, but every time he goes by the house, he's going to violate it if she's in the house.
What's the distance to the house from the road? 50 plus. Okay, so it's the issue isn't a house, but
Right.
if
So
if Ms. Johnston is standing on the road and you're driving in, that's the concern.
So he would have to stop.
Okay, no, I get. Okay, that's the concern.
So she's standing on the street. He's coming home. He's going to have to stop and wait for her to move or go around and come in the other direction.
Yeah.
Okay. Now he's at the HOA meeting. He's the president.
Right.
She comes in. He's going to have to leave.
No, she doesn't have to do anything, but
No, if she attends the HOA meeting,
you'll have to leave.
Mr. Peters will have to leave. Okay, I'm just making clarifications.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I don't want this to be used as a weapon to prevent the HOA from conducting its normal meetings. This is one of the reasons why courts try not to get involved in neighbor disputes like this, because it's very hard to craft a response that allows life to proceed, but also protects parties.
Then,
Okay, so
if her children.
yeah, hold on, Ms. Foster.
Okay, I'm sorry. How far to your house?
Okay. To address this issue, what I've done is I've amended the order, which says that Mr. Peters is, and I've taken away all the distance restrictions, to have no contact and stay away from Ms. Johnston, and stay away from Ms. Johnston's residence and Ms. Johnston's property. There is no distance restriction, but you are not to go onto her property, not to go to the residence, and you're to have no contact with her. If she goes to an HOA meeting, which she's entitled to do, you're just not to have any contact with her. You're not to say anything to her. You can be there.
He'd be violating the 25-foot.
No, there is no.
Oh, you took that away.
I took that away. But you're to have no contact with Ms. Johnston in any regard, wherever she is. Okay. I'll make copies of the order for parties. And Ms. Johnston, if you want this order renewed, you'll have to come back to court and ask for it to be renewed. It's in effect for 1 year.
Do you want my client to sign?
They don't.
Yep.
It doesn't need to be signed, but we're going to give you a copy.
Thanks, Jeff. I see you again.
You too.
We see each other very rarely.
Like the old days.
No, our gray hair is getting white.
Not much we can do about that.
Actually, I like it.
Can I ask you a question, please?
Sure.
I'm vice president. Period a little bit. Does that mean Bill can reach the meeting, but he cannot have any contact with her as long as he keeps 25 feet away?
No, he doesn't have to be 25. He just can't have contact with her.
But he can still come to the meeting.
Yes.
Okay.
So you're off the hook.
Yeah, thank you. Because I was going, I don't want to get in the middle of this.
Yeah.
So thank you. That's it.
You're welcome. Awesome. Robert Harvey. Mr. Harvey, it looks like we don't have service on Mr. Clausen.
No, because he failed to appear for his mandatory hearing. So now he's got a bunch of bench warrants.
Yep. So I think this has been reset. This is the fourth hearing. So at this point, I think we're going to call it into it. If at some point you believe you can get him served, you can refile this. But for now, we can't just keep carrying it hearing to hearing to hearing.
I understand. And yeah, well, once he's fileable, it'd probably be a moot point for several years anyway, since he's already pled guilty and was an alternate sentencing and couldn't be bothered to do any of the work. So
he may have a separate place to live, which won't bother you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we'll just dismiss it for now. You're welcome to file at a later date if you believe it's necessary.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Harvey. Thanks for your patience today.
Thank you. You too.
Yeah. Bye-bye. Shanna Smith, John Trepanier. And Kevin Markle. You folks are late. I called you earlier, you weren't here. Okay. All right. Everybody raise your right hands for me, please. Swear that testimony in this case to be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but truth.
Yes.
You may be seated. Yep, you can. All right, Ms. Smith and Trepanier, is that how you say your name?
John.
Yeah.
Last name.
Trepanier.
Trepanier?
Yeah.
Okay, come on, let's get some French in there. Trepanier.
Yeah, that works.
Okay, Mr. Trepanier. All right, as I read your petition, the allegation is that Mr. Markle, you believe, is making a nuisance of himself by intentionally driving by your house and constantly revving his engine.
Yes.
And it's meant directed at you.
Correct.
And what leads you to that conclusion?
Well, it stopped when he went to jail just previously, which I guess he just got out. Because there's been an issue with us over a car, and that can be taken care of at small claims court if he wants to take us there. We believe we had a claim, et cetera, et cetera. But the harassment is directly because he thinks the car is his. We think, well, we have the title, so.
Okay, yeah, I'm not going to decide.
I know, but that's when it started.
Okay, so because of that, he's frustrated, and so he revs his engine in front of your house.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me about what do you mean revs his engine, when, and
It's been several times a day. And what he does, he revs the engine and he makes the other car alarm go off. And the neighbors have complained. His son lives right next door and runs a neighborhood Facebook group, and they've been complaining about it and saying, what's going on? So.
Has anybody contacted the sheriff's office on a noise complaint?
Did Sean say he did? I guess Sean did, his son did.
And do we know what the sheriff's office said?
I don't know.
All right. Mr. Markle?
So this whole thing started over a vehicle that I purchased, and I went to jail for 3 days. I asked John, because at the time he was living on the same property I was, I asked him to pick up the car from the river. I get out 3 days later, he had went and paid the last $100 on my behalf, acting as what the owner, the lady I purchased the car from, was saying. He was paying off the car and handling all my legal affairs. I get out 3 days later because I didn't end up getting shipped to Montana. And he says, well, there's an issue. It's no longer your car, it's my car. Which is
All right, so I get that. Okay, so let's just, today we're only talking about you being ticked off and revving your engine in front of their house because you're ticked off. Is that what's going on?
That's what he's claiming.
Yeah, you tell me.
So I do not have a car currently because they have possession of my car. My spouse has a car and it has a very loud exhaust. There's a stop sign. She lives on the in-house. So when she downshifts to stop, or I downshift to stop, which I have a recording of downshifting to the stop sign, it is very loud. I could see where he would have a guilty conscience due to he's trying to take claim of my car.
Okay. I don't know if she has a guilty conscience about that, but okay.
I don't know if I'm not the greatest at explaining stuff.
Okay, well, you've told me that there's nothing intentional going on. It's the nature of the driving of that particular vehicle.
Yes. Because I do have, which I have not been able to serve because of the no contact order that I just recently received while I was incarcerated.
Okay. So let's start off with this, which is, I just looked up, you don't have a license. So you can't drive.
Currently, no.
Yeah, as of this moment in time, you don't have a license, so you can't drive. So hopefully that solves their problem, that you are the one causing their ears to hurt. So don't be driving. And if I'm them and I think it's you driving, I'm calling the sheriff and say, hey, pull him over. His license is suspended, or his license is, he doesn't have a license. It's not suspended. You don't have a license currently.
It's
you're eligible to get one, but you don't have one.
Yeah, I just got to pay off some fines, but yeah.
Okay. Anyway, you can't drive right now.
Yes.
Okay. So there's part of your solution right there. And your name is?
Teresa Farrell.
Ms. Farrell. You agree your car's really loud?
It is loud. It's an Infiniti 2003. And it is very loud. It's got dual exhaust. And it's a stick shift. And every time you start it, it's very loud. My neighbors will attest to that. And when you shift down, it goes, it's really loud.
Okay. So you run the risk of an officer pulling you over for an exhaust that's too loud. That's a violation of the driving statutes.
Thank God.
So those are, $150 tickets, I think. So you run the risk of getting that basically the test the officers use is if they're sitting in a car on the road and they can hear your exhaust while the windows of the police car rolled up, then that's too loud and they'll give you a ticket for it. So if that's what your exhaust is doing, then you probably better get it in. And if it's been modified, get the stock parts on it or make some adjustment to it.
I just bought it recently, actually.
Okay, so you may want to make a change to it.
I didn't know that was a law as far as it being that loud, but it is very annoying to myself also. My other one is very quiet.
Yeah, most people prefer not to live where there's a monster truck jam going on.
Right. I also.
All right. I'm not going to enter an order today. You can't drive till you get that license. You need to get your exhaust
checked out.
Yeah, and some modification to it or replaced with stock parts. I'm guessing it's modified parts in there, which is meant to amplify the noise. Neighbors don't like that. You don't like it.
I bought it. It was the sheriff from Morton's vehicle.
Shame on him.
Right?
Yeah, well, the sheriff were here, I'd tell him, shame on him. Anyway, the exhaust is meant to be quiet and not loud.
Yeah, this is.
Yeah, and it would be annoying in
it's annoying to me.
in a tight community to have a loud car. So
It is annoying.
do a kindness
I
to
admit
your
that.
neighbors.
It's very much so.
Okay, all right. I don't think we need to court order in this effect for the variety of reasons we talked about, but don't you be driving.
I'm getting that resolved soon.
Okay, but if you are driving, then, you know, I don't want to hear that you're sitting out front of their house going, "Rum, rum, rum, rum." So, you know, they've complained about it, you know about it. If it happens in the future, I maybe come to a different conclusion. Okay.
Can I say something, Your Honor?
Sure.
So I have papers to serve them for that car, and I have not because of this.
Okay, you can't serve them.
Okay.
You have to get somebody not related to you to serve them. So.
You just called her your wife.
No.
Did he?
I
He said,
wasn't.
can my wife come up there?
I said that, but I don't.
Yeah.
Other than that, but I am not married to him.
Okay, then you can serve them. Okay, but I don't need to be a part of that. All right. Thanks, folks.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yep.
Can I serve him here?
You can.
Here you go. Here you go. You want?
Okay, thank you.
Yes, neighbor.
Mr. Elm.
Yes, Your Honor.
And it looks like Mr. Wisnant has not been served.
That's
received anything since this weekend?
no, he has not been served.
Okay, so do you have a reason to believe that if we give you 2 more weeks, you can get it served?
I hope so. About 3 weeks ago at his hearing for a protection order that his wife filed against him, the judge instructed him, because she wasn't able to serve him prior to that date with the exhibits. The judge instructed him to go down to the clerk and provide an address so that paperwork could be served to him, and he did not follow those orders. And so 2 weeks later at their next hearing, that's when so since he didn't, provide an address, then I didn't have any way to, to get him served. So I was going to have someone serve him at their next hearing, which was a week and a half ago, I guess, or something, and he did not show up for that hearing. And so I couldn't have the papers served to him there. I know a couple of people who do have his phone number. He had changed his phone number, and they've tried contacting him a few times over the past 3, 4, 5 days, and he has been ignoring them, not responding. I called the sheriff's office last week and asked them, I didn't get through to anybody. I couldn't reach a live person after several attempts, so I left a message asking, if I were to provide them with the phone number for them, would they be able to call him and say, "Where are you? We need to serve you with this paperwork," or something like that. And I did not get a call back from them. So I am hopeful that I can actually get in touch with someone at the sheriff's office and find out if they can do something like that, but call him and say, "We need to get to you," or hopefully one of the couple of people that have tried reaching out to him, hopefully he'll respond to them. And then if all else fails, he has another court date it's next week, I believe. So as long as he shows up to that, then, the other thing was he got himself a lawyer for his other protection order case. I emailed that lawyer and asked if she's representing him for, any other protection, any other cases that come, because I need to serve him with paperwork. And she said, "I am not representing him for that, so I cannot accept service." So that was another way that I attempted to serve him. So As
So
long
what
as he
days is court date?
I think it is the 7th, I think. I think it's February 7th.
Actually, I see it's 9 o'clock on the 7th of February.
Yes, sir. So I'm hoping to,
Okay, so
if,
I'll reset this to the 10th of February
okay,
and
thank
see
you.
if you are successful in getting him served on the 7th.
Thank you. If I can't get it done before then.
We'll email out.
Yes.
We'll email you out a new service packet, which has the new date of the 10th of February on it. And we'll talk to you on the 10th and see if you're successful in getting him served.
Thank you, Your Honor. February 10th at 9 a.m. again?
Yep.
Okay.
Same.
Thank you.
Same way you joined us today.
Okay.
Or you can come in person. It's your choice.
Thank you.
Yep. All righty. Thank you very much.
Thank you.